In a peaceful village by a big river, there lived some villagers. They fished in the river, gathered food from the land, and celebrated each other's joys. But the river held a dark secret. Deep in its waters lived a monster. This monster was huge and scary. It had sharp teeth, green scales, and glowing yellow eyes. It stayed hidden during the day, but when night came, it would rise to the surface. It is said that the monster feeds on men. The villagers spoke of it in whispers, warning their children not to go near the river after sunset. One night, when the moon was bright and the stars twinkled, the villagers came out to enjoy the evening, the women, the men, and the children. The monster decided to change its shape. It had the power to become a beautiful woman. She looked like a goddess. She sneakily walked out the river to join the villagers. As the villagers gathered around the river, the beautiful woman sang sweet songs. The sound floated through the air like a gentle breeze. The men of the village were captivated. They had never seen such beauty. They laughed, danced, and forgot all their worries. "Come with me to the river," the woman said softly. "I will show you the magic of the water." The men, enchanted by her words, followed her without thinking. They walked to the river's edge, where the water glimmered under the moonlight. The woman smiled and beckoned them closer. But just as they reached the water, the woman's smile turned into a wicked grin. In an instant, she transformed back into the monster. The men were terrified. They tried to run, but the monster was too fast. With a loud roar, it grabbed them and pulled them into the deep water. The villagers on the shore could only hear their cries, but it was too late. The monster had taken them forever. The next day, the village was sad. Families searched for their lost men, but they were nowhere to be found. The village elder called everyone together and spoke gravely. "We must not go near the river at night. There is a monster that takes our men." But the monster was clever. Each night, the beautiful woman would rise again, singing her sweet songs and luring more men to the river. Some villagers grew curious and began to doubt the elder's warnings. They wanted to see the beauty for themselves. One brave young woman named Adana decided to find out the truth. She was determined to save the men and stop the monster. That night, she hid near the river, waiting to see the woman. As the moon rose high in the sky, the water began to shimmer. Suddenly, the beautiful woman appeared, singing on the riverbank. Adana secretly watched it. She sang her enchanting songs, and soon, 7 men who were at the riverbank joined her. They laughed and clapped, forgetting all caution. Adana stepped out from her hiding place. "Stop," she shouted. "Do not follow her. She is a monster." The men looked at Adana in surprise. "You are just jealous," one man said. "She is beautiful." But Adana stood firm. "I have seen what she truly is. She will take you into the river and you will never return." The woman turned to Adana, her eyes flashing with anger. "You should not have come here," she said, her voice cold. "You will join them." She lunged at her, but Adana was ready. She grabbed a big rock and threw it into the river with all her strength. The splash echoed, and the water rippled. The beautiful woman paused, her expression shifting from anger to fear. The men, seeing Adana's bravery, began to back away. "She is right," one man whispered. "Maybe we should go home." The woman, realizing she was losing control, roared loudly. "You cannot leave. Come back to me." But the men were afraid now. They turned and ran, following Adana away from the river. As they reached the village, the monster let out a furious scream. "You will pay for this," she bellowed, but the men were safe. They quickly told the villagers what happened. Adana became a hero that night. The village elder praised her for her courage. "We must protect ourselves," she said. "We will build a barrier by the river to keep the monster away." The villagers worked together to create a strong barrier of stones and thick branches. They sang songs of hope and courage as they built. The beautiful woman appeared again, but this time, she could not cross the barrier. She screamed in rage. Days turned into weeks, and the monster slowly grew weaker. Without the men to lure and feed on, she lost her power. Eventually, she sank deep into the river, never to be seen again. The village returned to peace. The people celebrated Adana's bravery and remembered the lesson learned. They knew that beauty can hide danger, and they had to be careful. From that day on, the villagers lived happily, always respecting the river and its mysteries. They told stories of the monster and the brave young woman who saved them, passing the tale down through generations. And every night, they would gather by the river, singing songs of joy.